Welcome to another episode of Canversations podcast, where we will dive deep into the world of can manufacturing, innovation, and industry insights. Brought to you by Intralox, the global leader in conveyance solutions. I'm your host, Erin Oaks, and today we're exploring what it means to adapt to a changing workforce and how Intralox is helping customers stay ahead through smarter training and support. I'm joined by Gwynne Moser, the commercial manager at Intralox with 25 years of experience in learning and development. Welcome, Gwynne.
Thanks, Erin. I'm happy to be here.
The pleasure is ours. So, Gwynne, can you tell us a little bit about what your role is as Intralox commercial manager and what your team's focus is on?
Yes, so I manage 4 training teams, and we work together to share best practices, focus on our own continuous improvement as far as leveraging new technologies and methods of training. And one of these teams is customer training.
I think we hear a lot here about changing workforces, and we hear it a lot from our customers too. Do you want to explain a little bit about what the trends that you're seeing and how that's shaping our approach for training?
Yeah, so we're seeing 2 big trends, and I would say some of this really we saw just an escalation during and post-COVID. One is higher turnover, and so less experienced operators on the floor, and second, a shift towards more tech-driven processes and automation. And we're seeing this not only in customer plants, but in our own plants as well. And so from a training perspective, that means, training needs to be faster and more accessible and tailored to different learning styles, whether it's virtual sessions or hands-on training. There's a lot of different ways that we're supporting both our internal employees and our customer employees. With customer training, we've used sort of a 3-pronged approach, and so we have digital baseline training that we think is really good for onboarding, and then we also have shorter performance support videos that's much more point of need or refresher trainings, and then we even do training in the field at customer sites. So we've got technical field services technicians that are out in the field, and they can do that support, whether it's through coaching or more formalized training. Mm-hmm. But we do find that the video-based training has been really useful, and these can be short videos on just one process or one challenge that someone might face in their plant. So the other benefit to video and pairing that with some of the newer AI technologies, we can easily translate these trainings. So our plants are global, and so are many of our customer plants. They're very interactive. And also what we've found is that people today are very used to, hopping on their phones or their computers and pulling up YouTube how-to videos. And so we're really trying to mirror that, because if that's how people learn today and something they're comfortable with, if we can train in that way, it's going to be very natural and comfortable for the learner.
Have there been any new tools or things that have allowed you guys to optimize how you're getting customers up to speed quickly?
Yeah, I mean, we're able to move so much faster today, by leveraging AI. We're working with one customer right now where we're actually working with another training vendor, a training company, to deploy our training using VR headsets. And it's just something that company wanted to do. So there's a lot of different ways. I think for us, it's really about understanding our customers' needs and where they are and what they need, and then saying, hey, how do we best provide that? And use technology to help provide that in a way that works for the customer.
Yeah. I'm sure there's still a time and place for the classic hands-on training with our experts going out to visit customers. Is that still a popular choice, something that we see needed?
I always think about it as we've got this team of experts that our customers can tap into, and field technicians are part of that team of experts. And so what we try to do is arm those field technicians with good training. They might be coaching in the field, they might just be fixing something in the field, but they also could be training employees. And so instead of them just sort of, reaching into all their knowledge and trying to train someone, we're partnering with them to say, hey, this is good training and it's going to be sticky and people will remember this. And here's how you get people to practice. Face-to-face training still certainly has a big place in getting people up to speed, I think.
Yeah. We also constantly hear about the workforce shifts and high turnover or like a less experienced workforce coming in. So how can we specifically help customers with that transition?
Yeah, and I think that's where just having these different methods of training deployment is important. And so, one thing we do know is that everyone's learning style is different. And usually, if there's a way to combine training, so maybe some of that digital training with some performance support videos and some hands on training in the field, that combination is very, very reinforcing. And you can capture all of your learners. And so, we try to simplify the training. One of the things we're focused on a lot right now is where do we have the opportunity to create, easy one-page sort of guides for the field, like just, how to, the old-fashioned job aid, basically, where maybe there's 3 or 4 processes that someone doesn't do often, but it's tricky and it has to be done right. Do you just have a one-page? Yeah, just a one-page, job aid for that. And so really back to working with customers to say, what are those specific things you might need, and helping deliver that to the customer.
What kind of feedback have you heard from customers on the specific challenges that they're facing and how we're addressing those pain points?
Well, I think one thing we hear a lot, and we certainly feel and experience in our own plants, is that speed to competency. Because of the turnover, because you've got a lot of new people, it's critical to get people able to do their jobs effectively as fast as possible. The other thing we're hearing is troubleshooting skills. So what we do is we try to work with the customers to identify what their, the root causes of their challenges are. And then we want to create and deliver learning interventions that will solve those problems. The other thing is just time in general. I think we hear that we can't afford these long training sessions where we have to pull people off the floor for hours and hours at a time. So that is driving a little bit of saying,
need to keep making cans.
Yes, exactly. And, so even some of the longer trainings we do have right now, that foundational training, we're now looking at how can we make sure that's easy and more modularized. So if someone just wants to go to this process, they can do that. And that's basically what the performance support videos do. So really looking at more and more of that, because that time issue is really important as well.
I think obviously the content then of the training is also very important, along with how we deliver it. So you guys are the experts at making the training, but you said that we're team-oriented, and we've talked before about collaboration at Intralox. So how do you guys collaborate with the other groups in engineering or application engineers, whoever you need to pull together all the information?
We use our internal experts as our subject matter experts in content. And we're using our engineers and even new product development engineers, because when new things come out, we want to make sure we're updating our training and keeping it current.
Right.
We also use, product developers. Our application engineers are great experts for us, because these guys are in the field. They're seeing the problems that our customers are having. They can bring those back to training and say, hey, we're seeing a lot of this. Can we create a performance support video or a short module? And so this collaboration is key to make sure we keep the training up to date.
What would you say to any customers that could be listening to this who can relate to this whole new reality and might be struggling with some of the things that we've talked about? What would you want them to know about what we offer?
What I want them to know kind of goes back to how we started, kind of that North Star. Like, we, as a company, Intralox is always trying to deliver value to our customers. And so we're here to partner with them. This is just one more service we provide out of a lot of services. I mean, obviously, from my perspective as a training manager, training is a huge, important service to offer. And so I would encourage them to partner with Intralox. So to talk to their account managers, their account reps, if they're interested in training solutions. And then what we would do is based on the current content we have and things we're developing and their needs, we'd really want to understand their needs. We would partner with them to create the right solution, the right training solution, and even the right delivery methods. So we're really in that space right now where we're exploring lots of different delivery methods. And so I would say they're not alone. And so I encourage them to reach out to Intralox.
And then what do you think is the biggest opportunity for growth in how we're training and supporting our customers in the next 5 years or so?
I think what we see is there's a lot towards this sort of individualized instruction for the future of learning, and so that it's, if I had to summarize it, it's the right training delivered to the right people at the right time. And to move us in that direction, our focus right now has been very much on self-serve, point of need training that's very easy to deploy, certainly in an industrial manufacturing environment, and focusing on solving those real-time challenges. And so I think, the organizations that are very interested in investing in their people, I think they're going to be looking for partners like us in the future to say, how do we do this well? And then I do think back to that realization that the more we invest in our people, probably the better we will retain those employees. And so for me, it's exciting, but I do think this idea of individualized instruction is kind of where we're heading next.
Very cool. Thank you so much. This has been very insightful. Learned a lot about training today.
Well, thank you. It's been fun.
Well, that's it for today's episode of Canversations. And as always, to our viewers, thank you for tuning in and exploring the world of can making with us. If you enjoyed today's conversation, be sure to subscribe, share, and connect with us. And for more can industry insights, services, and innovations from Intralox, you can visit us at intralox.com. Until next time, keep innovating, because in this industry, we can.